Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where I have been working on getting this contract to actually work correctly. We've got it to the point where we're on the stage that we need to deorbit, but it's selecting the wrong craft here. So what we need to do is we need to deploy this right here, this deployer, but the way that this works is that this deploys through the contract. It automatically deploys when the contract gets to the correct point, but the contract is bugged, so we need to fix that particular issue. Now, in the past, we've been able to just destroy the part, explode it, and because it has no explosive force, it doesn't actually do anything, but it breaks this connection. That's not happening now. I don't know why, but exploding this, I've tried it like 4 times, it explodes the entire station now, for some reason. So what I'm going to try this time is, using the development console, I'm going to try this IDDQD log. What this does is it makes, or rather this command, what this does is it makes the craft completely indestructible, in theory. So let's do that, and you can see up here, your craft suddenly feels more robust. Then we blow up this part, and it blows up the whole station again. Okay, now we run into a bug where we can't actually undo this. This button does nothing. So I have to restart the game. Okay, well, I'm running out of ideas. I will be back in a moment, but this is going poorly. Okay, so the game is restarted, and my next idea is I have been able to select this docking port in the past, the one right under here. I need to try to select this docking port, I think, and see what happens if we undock from that. So if we can just get the camera clipped in here, there we go. We can see that this is currently active. What happens if we deactivate this part? Okay, that just turns it on and off. So the next idea would be to grab the strut here, and can we please just lock to the current heading? Thank you. Let's get this tumble under control. Okay, so the next idea would be this strut here. We don't appear to be able to select the strut, which is interesting. And it's very dark right now, so it's a little hard to see, but I'm trying to select the strut here, and that definitely doesn't do anything. So, how do we want to proceed here? Well, we have a couple of options. We can just finish this contract, but I would prefer not to do that, is the thing. We need the station expander to expand. What happens if we just actuate the payload through the staging system? Would that work? That might actually work. Hang on. Am I very dumb? I might be very dumb here. Yeah, that worked. Okay, beautiful. So that is way easier. And so now we've got this craft here, and we need to get this assigned to this. Now, you'll note there is no button here to click to update this. So there's that. So now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get the unique flight ID here. So I'm going to end flight. We're going to save this. Save and exit. We need to get the UUID for that. And is that in here? No, it is not. Okay. So I need to get the UUID and I need to put that into the save file. So I will be right back again, and hopefully this will be working now. Hopefully. Okay, I was unable to get the contract to update properly with the UUID, unfortunately, but what I've done here is I've made it so that the contract should just complete when we load this up, in theory. And then we'll just manually deorbit this, because that's the only step left, right? It's actually still assigned to the wrong craft. Okay, let's put this on a deorbit trajectory, and let's see about getting that done. I don't love this positioning here because of the solar panels, so we'll let that clear a bit. And now we're going to send ourselves a bit retrograde. Okay, there we go. So now what we need to do is we need to take our periapsis down to somewhere like around 40 kilometers, thereabouts. So just do that, and then we'll see if I'm going to take another crack at forcing this contract to complete at that point. It's very bugged, and it's probably not going to get any better. So we'll just force this to complete. We've done all of the components of the contract, so let's go ahead and make a save there. This is now low enough that the contract would complete, so let's save and exit, and I will be right back after modifying that save game. Okay, now when we load it up, it should complete. I did find that there was one category that was still set to active. It was a category to check to make sure that the craft had a node ID. So, yeah, this should do the trick. And it did. Beautiful. Okay, so we can now end that flight, and we want to destroy this craft. That contract is now complete. Now we need to work on the other contract. So, the question then is, can we get that contract working before we take off? That would be best. We need to get rid of the habitation module, and we're going to need to put in, what was that, the Hydrolox sphere? Yeah, so that's this guy. Now, that's going to be a fair amount more massive, as well as, you know, generally larger. So we're going to need to bring up the radius of our fairing here for sure. And it's going to be a bit of a problem. Let's make this be about a 5-meter radius on the fairing. So about like that. And then we attach this guy in right there. Even that's a little too low. Okay, we can bring this up to around 3 meters here, but we're going to need to bring this up to like 5 1/4 approximately to fully encapsulate that. Okay, now I don't know that this is actually going to make it to orbit. This is a lot more mass, but let's put this out on the pad and see what happens with the contracts. Are we able to have this thing be assigned to the correct ship? Okay, we can click the button to update it. Will it immediately fail? It didn't. That's a very good sign. Okay, so let's take this over for now to... Does this not have monoprop? Hang on. Are we using our monoprop? I just noticed we have RCS on. Our monoprop is not being used. Okay, so this does not have any built-in monoprop. That is noted. We will need to fix that. But for the moment, what I want to do is I want to see about bringing this over to about here. Throttling up. Oh, we do have monoprop. Never mind. It just wasn't going. Okay, that's fine. So we're just going to do something like this. I want to see how far this goes. Our timing is not going to be correct here, and we're probably going to need a few other things, like more Delta V in this stage. This is a heavier and larger payload. So we'll see what that ends up looking like, but for now, I just want to see how far we end up getting. This is not progressing beyond launch with the Hydrolox fuel sphere, so we're probably going to have to do a similar sort of thing where we fix the contract in the save game editing. I really don't like doing that, but these Spaceport Esperanza contracts are so fragile. They break a lot, very frequently. Other contracts seem largely okay, but the Spaceport Esperanza ones? Not great. So we can see we're at about 30% fuel right now, and we're also way too far on the pitch at this moment. Our pitch is not where we're trying to be at. And this is probably due to the mass of our payload up here. Okay. Well, we can also see our thrust to weight is quite a bit down from where we'd expect it to be. Our apoapsis currently not as high as we'd like. There's a lot of issues going on right now. So I'm just holding this attitude here. We're going to keep burning the SRBs for the moment. So 3, 2, 1, and the SRBs are out of fuel. Whoa, that was a weird way for them to detach. Okay, so you can see here, we're now moving back up to that 70-degree marker. Time to apoapsis is holding at 64. You can see our thrust to weight is down below 1. So we're obviously going to need to do some work on this initial booster stage. There's no doubt about that. This is not going to get us to orbit. That's understood and not very surprising. So let's pull this back. That's still bugged. Okay, that's going to be problematic. I didn't expect that to still be bugged. Well, that's definitely interesting. Well, we can bring this down to about a 45-degree pitch at this point. I'm expecting time to apoapsis to start going negative over here. Our thrust to weight is very, very low. We're definitely going to need to work on that. That's for sure. We can actuate this fairing at this time, which is fine. That'll boost up our thrust to weight some, but there's absolutely no way this is getting to orbit, right? So we're going to need to definitely undo this. So I guess I'm going to have to Alt F4 this and do it that way. I really strongly dislike that. I hope that this is not going to be the case going forward. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. So what this is going to do is this is going to ask us if we want to resume an in-progress flight. And we're going to have to say no to that, and that's going to revert it back. I don't know why that button isn't working. We can work on that. So, yeah, here we go. A previous in-progress flight was detected. We want to undo that flight. We want to be in this position, which is exactly where we are. We have 2 active crafts. This is on the pad right now, isn't it? It's not on the ground. What? Where is it? It is on the ground. It's right here. And now this contract is assigned to another craft. Okay. Can we recover this? We can. Okay. So that's something. The game is going a little haywire at this point. There's no doubt about that. Well, let's see if we can force it to update something by maybe accepting a contract. Let's refresh these contracts real quick. Okay, so we've got something like this, right? And I'm not going to do any more of these, but I think we're going to be done with the Spaceport Esperanza, assuming we get this thing back to a working condition after this, because it's too much. So, to be honest, one thing I've been noticing about the contracts is they don't do a very good job of pushing you into going to the other worlds. There's a little bit of Silero here and there, but there's not too much in terms of just, like, go to random other worlds. There's not a lot going on there for contracts. I feel like KSP does a better job at pushing you to go to other worlds. This is a bit more realistic in that it's focused more on, like, low orbit, which is fine. But what I want to do right now is I want to put this on the pad. So we're going to do this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if we can undo an exit right now. We cannot. Okay, but can we save flight? Yes. Okay, we could recover and we could save. But we can't undo. That appears to be broken now. And the question is that broken forever? Retry and undo are both completely broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a quick save here. And I'm going to see if quick loading works. So we're just going to launch this. I don't care where it goes. We're now going to quick load. That button doesn't work. Okay, is there a hotkey for quick load? Does the hotkey work? There probably is. Quick save is, I believe, F5. Quick load is F8. Okay, the UI is broken. Excellent. That is a very, very good sign, right? Okay. So, iteration is going to be a pain unless we get this solved. So it appears to be while in flight that the issue is. So that means that I have to force quit the game and restart the game every time we want to do this, and that's going to be obnoxious. So what is broken? That is the question that must be asked here. So, give me a moment here. Hydrolocks. Okay, I'm in the save game right now, and there's definitely something that is broken here. So I'm going to delete this. And this. Okay, so what I just did was I deleted in the Hydrolock sphere, and we need to restart the game again. But what I just did was in the Hydrolock sphere contract, I went in and deleted everything that is related to the craft tracking. I believe that's what the issue here is. I don't know that for a fact, but I believe that to be the current issue. Amazing. Okay. Yeah. So now we're failing to load the save. Okay. Well, I will be right back again. Okay. So, I've got it loading the save again. So that is fantastic. The issue, I don't exactly know what it was, but I think it was related to a I think it was related to a UUID no longer existing. I ended up having to get rid of the contract completely from the save game, and then come into here, and then I had to re-accept it here. So this means we get the signing bonus again, I think, but we're not at the amount of money that we should be at anyway, so the whole thing is, I think, a wash. So that's absolutely fine. The next question is our reverting working again? I hope so. Let's find out. Let's put this out on the pad. That is not the button I wanted to press. And let's try this real quick. So, with this on the pad, I'm not even going to lift it off, and we're going to see if we can undo. Hey, look at this. This is actually working correctly now. That's wild. Okay, so let's pull this back. Let's see if we can undo an exit. No, that is still broken. Okay. We can recover the craft, but that would only get us 44.8 million. So obviously, that's definitely not ideal that that's still broken. So the question is, what can we do about that? So Juno New Origins, I'm just looking it up right now. Undo button not working. Okay, what do we got? It seems like this has been a bit of an issue, but maybe not. I'm not seeing other people with the problem immediately. Okay, so the question is, what exactly would have caused this to happen? And I think it's something to do with the save game being in some way broken. And that's not surprising, given what we've had to do to this very, very poor save game. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo and exit this. And I want to... Right, we can't undo an exit. I'm going to recover the craft. We're going to lose like 30 million. That's understood. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take another contract here. So that's this contract here. I'm going to accept that contract. Then we're going to come in here. And we need to rescue a druid. So what I'm going to do is I want to take a look at that contract. So this is get near the crashed simple cub. Yeah. Bring him back to the village. Okay. So we're going to open up the off-road car. I'm going to not carry a druid with, and we're just going to put this on the village runway. So we're going to put this out here. I'm going to complete a contract, and I'm going to hope that gives us... This is not a lot of acceleration. Okay. That's going to be a problem. Let's retry / undo. Undo and exit. Yeah, that's not working. So let's recover this craft again. We need to go into the build here. The idea here is we're going to need to turn up this torque and gear ratio quite a lot. So lower values result in less torque. Yeah, I'm going to put this about here and about here, like that. And back on the village runway we go. Okay, the idea here is we're just going to go complete a contract. And I'm going to do this in 2x speed. Thank you very much. So we're just going to go complete a contract, and I'm hoping that that will give us a somewhat cleaned save. So we're going to head up this way, and this is something that we shouldn't have to undo, right? We're currently upside down, so we're going to need to go like this. We're in 2x speed, and this thing is rocketing all over the place. Okay, we're going this direction? Sure. So it's going to take some time to get there, but I'm very much hoping to get back our ability to undo. That would be nice. It's clear that there's something wrong with the save file. I might have to go back and remove some contracts that we completed that are just not quite in the right stage. There's probably one there, and that would be a fine thing to do, I think. I don't think there'd be a problem with that necessarily. So if I just go through and remove the completed contracts, maybe. But it might start re-offering them to us, which would not be ideal. That's for sure. Okay, so we're about 21 kilometers away from this druid. This thing definitely careens around a lot. No doubt about that, but it's quite safe. Surprisingly so. So we can see that our battery is currently at about 84%, and I'm only going to extend these solar panels, the side ones, when we're charging, because we know they have a tendency to like to break. But these ones on the body here, they do a pretty good job of charging us while we're moving. They're not the best in terms of efficiency, but they definitely do some work on that front. So it's pretty close to time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to grab this druid, and we need to bring him back to the village. And I'm going to continue to work on the issue that we're having. Okay, that's exciting. I'm going to continue to work on the issue that we're having with undoing. Because that is... If I can't fix that, we're going to have to put an end to the series. Which, I mean, it's getting to that point anyway. There's a lot of bodies in the system that we haven't been to yet, and I would like to fix that. But we're not really getting contracts for it, and the cost to go to those would be high enough that I don't want to do that without a contract. So maybe what we should do is... I think we're pretty much done with progression at this point. I think we've done all of the progression contracts. And we could hop into a sandbox game and do an exploration if I'm not able to get this working. That's actually not a terrible idea, now that I think about it. So I'm going to continue to work on this, but that's going to be a mostly... Oh my. That's going to be a mostly off-camera thing, and if I'm not able to get the reverting fixed, then I think we're going to hop into sandbox and just do a visit to each of the bodies. Probably a landing, maybe a return. Honestly, this series has been pretty long, though, so we might want to think about just a landing on the other bodies and then calling it good there. Just abandoning the... Oh my, this is awkward. This thing really wants to turn around right there. Okay. Well, yeah. I'm actually leaning towards doing that. I mean, we've been running into quite a number of issues with contracts, so if this doesn't work, then I think we'll just do that. That seems like a reasonable course of action at this point. Okay. This thing is spinning like mad. I just want to go this way. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see about maybe coming to some sort of a decision about that. That does seem like a reasonable course of action, though. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including... Okay, I'm trying to steer and do this at the same time. That's very awkward. Including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.